will be protected by God.
People of YouTube, I have returned, victorious once again. Breaking, North Korean missile lands. Japan cancels national emergency alert. North Korea's missile landed in the Pacific Ocean. I can't imagine being a Japanese citizen as missiles fly over the island. It'd be pretty intimidating. North Korea fires missile from Pyongyang, reports from South Korea. Let's take a look.
I've got major breaking news right now. South Korea media just now reporting that North Korea has fired a missile eastward from Pyongyang. We're going to have more details on that. Of course, we thought perhaps it would have come last weekend on so-called Founders Day, but the stakes are extraordinarily high. The UN has already voted once in the last week on this. Perhaps more action will have to come.
Breaking, Senate approves the bill. A $3 billion incentive package from the Wisconsin Assembly sent to Governor Scott Walker for Taiwan-based Foxconn has become the single largest subsidy to a foreign government in United States history. AP reported the bill approved on a bipartisan 64-31 vote would make a $2.85 billion available to Foxconn Technology Group in cash payments if it invests $10 billion and hires 13,000 workers. The Senate approved the proposal Tuesday. The Republican governor was in South Korea on a trade mission at the time of the vote, but pledged to sign the incentives package into law soon. Walker, who negotiated the deal, and its lead champion, joined President Donald Trump in announcing Foxconn's plans to build in Wisconsin at a White House event in July, heralding it as a game changer for American manufacturing. Assembly Democrats, who didn't have the votes to stop it, slammed the proposal Thursday as being unfairly rigged to benefit Foxconn at the expense of taxpayers. So whether we have jobs or they don't, I mean, Democrats don't care. They hate us if we have jobs. They hate us if we do not have jobs. The psychosis runs rampant. Even in the Republican side, I didn't anticipate that half of them actually not even being true Republicans. From what I could tell, even the Republican Party has been dissolved into a globalist cesspool. Republicans aren't even Republicans, they're posers. But Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos defended it as an unprecedented opportunity for the state and country. What's rigged is the deal for the taxpayer, the workers, the families, and ultimately those of us who have had the good foresight to realize when a good deal is put in front of you, Vos said. Foxconn is the largest contract manufacturer of electronics, best known for making iPhones, but with a long list of customers including Sony, Dell, and BlackBerry. The Wisconsin plant would construct liquid crystal display panels for televisions, computers, and other uses. The total incentive package is 10 times larger than anything ever approved in Wisconsin and would be the biggest state subsidy to a foreign company in the United States. Foxconn issued an unsigned statement thanking Wisconsin, saying the incentives will help us move forward with our plans to build the state-of-the-art advanced display manufacturing campus. It also pledged to make extensive use of the supply chain in the state to make Wisconsin a center of worldwide high-tech manufacturing. Critics have warned that there aren't enough protections for taxpayers to recover payments to Foxconn if it automates production and fires workers. They also said more needs to be done to guarantee that Wisconsin workers and businesses get preference during the construction of the phase of the plant, and once it's up and running, Foxconn has said it hopes to open the plant in 2020 with 3,000 workers, but that the workforce could grow to 13,000. And although I certainly like the idea of more jobs coming in, high-paying, state-of-the-art jobs, 13,000 doesn't seem like very much, and even as a maximum of 13,000. But in any case, jobs are coming back, so I'm pleased. Chuck and Nancy's plan was exposed. Bill O'Reilly believes Chuck and Nancy's meeting with President Trump last night was a setup to erode Trump's base. Conservative commentators and the American people in general should see right through this. The Schumer-Pelosi thing was by design, and Donald Trump should learn a lesson from it. They are trying to erode base support for Trump. Well, the thing that pisses me off about the Republicans, like I was saying, we see that most of them are globalists. They're not even Republicans. They're not even conservatives. Most of them aren't even Christians. They're just posers. So I see a major problem with that. Last night, Chuck and Nancy sent out a deceiving joint statement claiming they had cut a deal on DACA and it excluded the wall. From Washington, D.C., Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi issued the following joint statement following a dinner with President Trump in the White House. We had a very productive meeting at the White House with the president. The discussion focused on DACA. We agreed to enshrine the protections of DACA into law quickly and to work out a package of border security, excluding the wall, that's acceptable for both sides. We also urged the president to make permanent the cost-sharing reduction payments, and those discussions will continue. Well, as we see Trump's pivot to the center, I guess I kind of seen it coming, but it surely is frustrating to see that Trump is actually working with the Democrats instead of the Republicans because the Republicans can't even pass anything. So it appears that, so much of it weighs on a few Democratic votes to pass certain things, which I can't stand, but it's the reality of it. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee immediately responded and said excluding the wall was never agreed upon. And now we see why working with the Democrats is probably never a good idea. So they work one thing out, and they're already falsifying the facts of the deal. So Sarah Sanders comes out swinging, pushing the truth. While DACA and border security were both discussed, as excluding the wall was certainly not agreed to. So I wouldn't work with the Democrats or give them a single thing. But Trump is playing a chess game far beyond our reach. So let's see what happens. Well. Look what we've just found. Bernie Sanders. As Bernie Sanders pushes furiously for a single-payer healthcare system, a new video from 1987 has emerged showing that Bernie admitted that a single-payer system would bankrupt the United States. The Political Insider reported, to get an intellectually honest statement out of Bernie Sanders, we have to go all the way back to the 1980s. The anti-capitalist crusader sure is good at promising his followers the world and then some. Hillary Clinton even complains in her new book that she was competing against a man promising everyone a free pony. Bernie's style is making promises as simple. Identify something everyone would rather not pay for, offer it for free, and then don't mention how you're going to pay for it. Yeah, I guess it really is that simple, isn't it? If anyone inquires about how freebies will be funded, just mention millionaires and billionaires, as if the richest 1% in the country aren't already paying half the federal income taxes. While Bernie's always been a socialist, he at least acknowledged budget constraints existed back in the 1980s, at a time when the government collected much less revenue than it does today. In a video reported on by the Washington Free Beacon, Sanders is caught saying that a single-payer healthcare system would bankrupt the U.S. In the interview, Sanders says, "You want to guarantee that all people have access to healthcare as you do in Canada, but I think that we understand is that unless we change the funding system and the control mechanism in this country to do that, for example, if we expanded Medicaid to everybody, give everybody a Medicaid card, we would be spending such an astronomical sum of money that, we would bankrupt the nation." So it appears he used to tell the truth. If only a 1987 version of Sanders was around to talk some sense into the Bernie of today, he probably could have told him that his newly proposed socialized medicine plan would cost nearly $1.5 trillion a year. Let's take a look.
one of the points that we understand, and I think was reinforced that when we went to Canada, is that, at least as I see it, and I'm not an expert on it, but this is the way I see it. Number one, you want to guarantee that all people have access to health care, as you do in Canada. But I think what we understand is that unless we change the funding system and the control mechanisms in this country to do that, for example, if we expanded Medicaid to everybody, right, give everybody a Medicaid card, we would be spending such an astronomical sum of money that, we would bankrupt the nation. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that and why in Canada, under their national health system, you can have access for all people, and yet per capita, it is less expensive than in the United States.
Well, for one thing, you don't have extra charges.